Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Els. Today's video, I'm like actually so excited to film it. In so many of my other videos, I talked about my book journal and like vaguely hinted at it, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll make a video about it. And today I'm finally making a video about it. I've had a book journal for the past like 3 or 4 years, and I feel like I've really perfected it. And then on top of that, I recently started a spreadsheet to keep track of my reading, and so I'm really excited to share that with y'all too. Also, it's chucking it down outside right now. Can you hear it? Can you hear the rain? It's like pouring outside. It has been raining nonstop in Florida for like 4 days, so I've kind of given up, and it's just gonna have to be a part of the video. Not my best work. It just started raining harder. I started book journaling in fall of 2021, so fall of my senior year of high school. I think I saw Steph Bohr do it, and I was like, that's a really good idea, when I was just starting off. Like, I think I started doing this before I started on Goodreads. Like, this was very early on in like my reading days. This is so nostalgic. I had such great intentions. Like, I had my table, whatever. But like, I don't know why I didn't leave room for more than like 17 books. It just like didn't really click. The first book I did was Little White Lies, and this is the format that I've kind of kept. I do like the title, and I try to make it like cute and fun. I try to like make it match the book and like the cover, because I think that's just cute. I start off with just like a general sentence to get myself going, like, I really liked this book, I hated this book, I have mixed feelings about this book. Those are my 3 go-tos. Like, this one starts off with, overall, I really enjoyed this book. If you're like, oh, where should I start with my book journal? Just start with that. Just be like, oh, this book was really good. And then talk about why. Like, it's so easy, and so, it's like cathartic. Because like the whole time I'm reading a book, I'm always like taking notes on how I feel about it. And then it's weird to just put it down and like leave all of those notes behind. So it's so nice to like actually write them down. It's so nostalgic. This is one of the first books that I really fell in love with. This is Little White Lies by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I've talked about this book so much on this channel. It's such a good one. It's about a debutante. It's like a mystery thriller Gossip Girl style book. And then the next journal entry is the next one in the series. Keeping tabs on the page numbers is so important. As you go, you'll want to like refer back to books and be like, oh, what did I think of this? If I'm like looking into a book to read and I'm like, oh, I think I've read this author before, it's so nice to be able to like flip back and go and like look at books that that author has written and see how I feel about it. So definitely number your pages so you can find the books again. My biggest mistake starting off was that I did just have that one table of contents page, and so throughout the rest of the book there are like 900 tables of contents, which is kind of annoying to deal with. A few other beginner mistakes. I would write in my book journal immediately after finishing a book. Like, I would finish it and then immediately write about it. The Unhoneymooners is a perfect example of that. I did not like this book at all, but my first sentence was, this book was really cute. Like, I think I was still processing it, and like I had just finished it, and the ending's always really cute. But then like as I go, I'm like, oh, I loved this, and then I actually hated the rest of the book. So I think just taking longer to reflect on how I felt overall instead of just like my feelings right after finishing it was definitely smart. And that's something that I started doing way later. I also would put in the title of a book immediately as soon as I bought it, not as soon as I finished it. My entries are not in chronological order for when I finished them. They're in chronological order from when I bought them, which is really not cute. And so finding books is awful. And then there are a bunch of just like random empty pages of books that I bought and then never read. Those are definitely things to look out for when you're starting your own book journal. Just mistakes to avoid. And now, my pride and joy, my baby, my new one. My first entry is from January 2nd, 2023. So very beginning of the year, I knew I wanted to start a new book journal. And this one is literally perfect because the pages are already numbered, which is so ideal. And there's also a giant table of contents in the beginning. So definitely look for that when you're buying a journal to write in. And this one, I fixed my previous mistakes, and I only wrote a book title in once I finished the book. So that way it's really easy to go in and know the exact order that I read them, which is so easy. When making wrap-up videos, I can just like turn the page, okay, next book, turn the page, next book. Whereas with that one, it was always a mess trying to flip through and find all the books I was talking about. Just absolute disaster. It literally could not be easier. But I did keep kind of the same format where I like write the title really cute and then I give my general thoughts. I tried to do the day that I finished it and it just like didn't really stick because I do go in so much later. I know a lot of people when they're doing their book journals, I think Steph Bohr did this in that like first video that I watched. She would put like quotes from each book, and so each like entry would take up 2 pages. I don't do that. I just do it quick, simple. Okay, so now for a quick read through of some of my favorite entries. Where on This Life is one of my favorite books that I've read in the past few years, and I recommend it just endlessly. Like, it's such a good book and it's so unique. And I wrote, this book broke my heart and put it back together again. It was vulnerable, raw, and passionate, and had me shedding tears in public. Emmeline's forgiveness of her parents was extremely cathartic for me, helping to process my own grudges and burdens. I also loved Jace and how he helped Emmeline realize her own needs. Overall, the concept of this book was so unique and interesting that it had me hooked the whole time. I really, really liked the ending and would definitely reread. On the flip side, we've got Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I wrote, this book was chaos and somehow just as bad as the other Anna Huang books that I've read. Christian's character was inconsistent, the torture thing was not needed, and Stella was way too good for him. Overall, this book was just messy, the time jumps were weird, and the characters and side plots were confusing, and the romance aspect was unhinged. It's like nostalgic to flip through it too, because your tastes change so much when you get older, and like when you read more, your standards get higher, and it's just so cute to like look back and see the books that I thought were like the best books I'd ever read, and now I'm like, yeah, like that one was okay. Next, The Deal. Honestly, I expected a lot more from the book. The author tried too hard to incorporate heavy subjects, which made the book really awkward, and the main character was super annoying, and her outfits sucked, like even for the 2000s. Final rating, 1 out of 5 stars. I also picked up on some strong anti-blonde vibes. The Soulmate Equation. This book was so good. My only complaints are there were a lot of random clusters of word repetition, a handful of grammar mistakes and typos, and the kid who knows more than parent trope. Other than those problems, I loved everything about this book. The romance was perfect with just the right amount of tension, and I loved both main characters. I can definitely understand why Steph Bohr loves this book so much. Oh, The Front Runner. I really loved this book, even though I wasn't expecting to. Usually, enemies to lovers isn't my favorite trope, but if any author can pull it off, it's Elsie Silver. This was such a perfect slow burn with great pacing and a realistic transition from enemies to lovers. I really loved both Stefan and Mira and loved watching them fall in love. The only thing I wasn't huge on was the action/drama packed ending, and it was a bit too cheesy for me. Wilder. I have mixed feelings about this book. I liked the main characters and I never saw the plot twist coming, but I didn't love how soapy the book felt or how rushed it was. I wish the burn were a bit slower and Leia's backstory were a bit less dramatic. Out of all Rebecca Yarros books, I'd say this was my least favorite. That being said, I haven't read a bad book by Rebecca Yarros. Marrying Off Morgan McBride. This book was so unexpected. The author's commitment to historical accuracy was amazing and made the book a million times better than other historical romances. The plot was fun, quick, and unpredictable, and the characters were fun and mostly likable. I also really loved the setting and overall vibe of this book. Something that I didn't love about this book, though, was that it felt a bit rushed once Morgan and Pitt met. Logistically, this book probably couldn't have been a slow burn, but it could have been maybe a bit slower. Play Along. This book surprised me a lot. I expected to like it, but I did not expect a 5-star read. Kennedy is one of my favorite main characters ever, and I'm obsessed with Isaiah. The romance is definitely one I'd root for, and the slow burn was absolutely perfect. This book touched on intense topics like gender discrimination and sports management, but it handled them well, and it didn't feel itchy and performative. This is also one of the only workplace romances ever that isn't gross. Also, the miscommunication was reasonable. Overall, I loved this book and its characters, and I can't wait to read more of the series. So on top of my book journal, I've recently been keeping a book spreadsheet. So let me grab my computer and I'm gonna show you that next. Okay, I use Google Sheets for this because I can't figure out Excel for my life. What I have done is I have created a table where I put in the title, the author, my rating, the date I finished it, and then I can select tropes for books, and then I put it as a series, main characters, platform that I read it on, so physical book, Kindle, Audible, and then I have a spot to write if I DNF'd it. This has been such a game changer and so much fun to do. And then also this way, if I ever make a trope video, it's so easy to go in and find books with that trope. I did make one for last year as well with just the fun like rom-coms and romances that I had read. Now it's time for the fun part. Yesterday I finished King of Envy by Anna Huang. It's part of the Kings of Sin series. I think it's the 5th book. I am so torn on Anna Huang. I've read at least 6 or 7 of her books, and I have loved 2 and hated the rest. And I'm really starting to think that it's not worth it to keep reading them. Now that I've finished it though, I get to go in and add it to my book journal. So I've already added it onto here. I gave it 2 stars, finished it on the 11th. The tropes are Forced Proximity, I Hate Everyone But You, Grumpy Sunshine, and Marriage of Convenience, kind of. Kings of Sin number 5. The main characters are Ayanna and Buck, and I read it on Kindle Unlimited. And now I'm gonna put it in my book journal. Start off by going to my table of contents and writing it in. There it is. And now I'm gonna write in the title. I, of course, don't have all my markers and cute writing supplies that I usually use to make the titles, so I'm gonna do the best with what I have. It's not my best work, but it gets it done. I didn't like this book, which is super sad because I've been liking the series. I adored Ayanna, and Buck wasn't the worst, but the whole action / mob / secret society element really didn't speak to me. This book also felt like it was 200 pages too long. I did like all of the crossover with the other Anna Huang books. It was a cute little Easter egg hunt. This will probably be my last Anna Huang book. Super easy. Book journaling is literally so easy and so fun. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that there are so many different ways to keep track of your reading, and that it doesn't just have to be on Goodreads, and it doesn't have to be super time consuming. Like my journal entry took maybe 3 minutes, probably less. Also, if you want a more detailed video on the spreadsheet, let me know, because that has been something that I've really been enjoying recently. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you next time.